Dr. Emmanuel Manny Hostin, an orthopedic surgeon and husband of The View co-host Sonny Hostin, is accused in December lawsuit fraudulently billing insurance. By the way, this is a Daily Caller story I'm reading. The lawsuit alleges Hostin knowingly provided fraudulent medical and other healthcare services in exchange for kickbacks and or compensation, and names him among nearly 200 defendants in one of New York's largest RICO cases.
For more, we go to our chief Sonny Hostin correspondent for a reaction.
Sonny Hostin thought she was navigating a tough news cycle until Greg Gutfeld and Tyrus showed up like a tag team demolition squad armed with sarcasm and metaphors hotter than a Texas grill. What began as a newsflash about her husband's jaw-dropping $450 million legal meltdown quickly turned into a full-blown roast worthy of a Comedy Central stage. Tyrus launched every jab like a guided missile, while Gutfeld spun zingers so fast you needed a replay just to catch them all. And Sonny, her silence was so chilling, you'd think she was auditioning for a reboot of Frozen. But the true shocker, that scandal was just Act 1. What unraveled next could make courtroom dramas look like bedtime stories.
Percent of Americans trust our healthcare system. We have a terrible healthcare system, and doctors suffer because of big corporations as well. Doctors that want to do good, like my husband, operates on someone even though they don't have insurance, and then has to sue health insurance companies to get paid for the work that he's been trained his whole life to do.
And it is funny. She's so wrapped up in identity, and she had...
For years, Sonny Hostin ran The View like it was her own private court, gavel in hand, perched on a throne of righteous indignation. She didn't debate, she sentenced, issuing verbal life terms for wrongthink and exiling dissenters faster than a brunch invitation disappears in Hollywood. But this week, the tables didn't just turn, they flipped like a rigged game of Monopoly. The self-appointed queen of courtroom commentary suddenly found herself center stage in a real-life scandal that smells more like a Netflix legal thriller than a Hot Topic TV segment. The co-star in this plot twist, her husband, allegedly drowning in a $450 million legal disaster that's now threatening to sink their entire brand of picture-perfect respectability.
That will go after white America and talk about them like dogs. That doesn't represent our ideals or values for anyone. And get rid of those people, and this will clear up real quick. So do you have to actually look in the mirror and clean up your own backyard and get the racist people out? Because that's who you allowed in. You allowed black racists on TV who could just go all day and say anything about white people. And I guess lo and behold, they forgot that there's a lot of people at home, white people at home during the day that are not watching your show anymore. So just clean it up.
Grab your popcorn and buckle in. Gutfeld and Tyrus just hit the sarcasm switch to maximum. And their new target, none other than Sonny H herself. Known for acting shell-shocked whenever something conservative dares to breathe, Sonny's on-air performances often resemble theatrical outrage laced with law school buzzwords. But now that her husband is tangled in a financial meltdown that makes Bernie Madoff look like an amateur, the narrative has changed. Suddenly, it's all about privacy and waiting for the facts. Oh, how convenient. The woman who used to turn every GOP subpoena into a courtroom monologue is now preaching due process like it's gospel. Irony doesn't get juicier than this.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sonny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sonny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sonny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of...
When someone else was under scrutiny, Sonny led the charge, lobbing accusations with ice-cold stares and the energy of a courtroom gladiator. But now that her own house is under siege, she's gone full silent mode. Like someone just found the volume knob and twisted it to mute. That's when Gutfeld and Tyrus entered from stage right, oozing with sarcasm like it was an Olympic sport. They weren't just commenting, they were carving hypocrisy with sniper precision, feasting on a buffet of double standards. Because let's be honest, there's no scent quite like the smoke of selective outrage. And Sonny's plate is full.
Hostin, who thinks climate change caused the solar eclipse, the dumbest of them all. Because everyone knows the moon caused the eclipse, which is controlled by the View's gravitational pull.
And just when you thought the narrative couldn't get weirder, Sunny H casually dropped the claim that climate change caused a solar eclipse. No, seriously. Apparently, decades of astronomy take a backseat when daytime television's gravitational pull distorts reality. It was poetic timing, because while the universe handled the moon's shadow, Gutfeld handled Sunny's crumbling credibility like a master roaster at a campfire, with Tyrus tossing marshmallows into the flames. What followed was a deep dive into her husband's alleged legal debacle. A financial labyrinth so murky it makes Enron look like a math quiz error. We're talking accusations of fraud, mismanagement, and enough legal drama to turn courtroom reporters into overnight celebs. And Sunny, the same woman who once dissected conservative scandals with laser focus, now sounds like a glitched Alexa when asked about her own. One moment, she was the high priestess of accountability. The next, she's defending silence like it's a constitutional right. Meanwhile, Gutfeld went in like it was opening night at a roast battle, and every joke landed like it was built to sting first and scorch second. The irony. It's not just thick, it's practically served medium rare with a side of karma.
All. But who's the dumbest one of all? True, none of them are in Mensa, but who's the most densa? Perhaps it's Sunny who mastered the art of making idiots look smart. Now, The View could ask a mirror who's the dumbest one of all, but there's no way that glass